Yep, I can hear you.
Great. Congrats on making the Super Bowl.
Thank you.
I have two questions for you. Number one, and they both, I guess, kind of go back to draft night. Number one is, were you angry when you were the fourth offensive tackle off the board? Did you think you might be the first one? There was a lot connecting you to the Giants back then who took Andrew Thomas. And then the second one is, after you get picked and you realize, oh my God, I'm blocking for Tom Brady. What's that pressure like?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't say I was angry that I was the fourth tackle taken off there. I wouldn't have been surprised if, in any order, us four would have went. So no, I wasn't angry. And then, the Bucs picked me, and that's the first thing BA said when he called me. He's like, "You ready to block for Tom Brady?" I was like, I guess so. I was like, if I'm not, I'll get ready pretty fast. But yeah.
Next, we'll go to James Yarko with SB Nation.
Hey, Tristan, congratulations on making it to the Super Bowl and on a fantastic rookie year. You take a look at your performance this year and how well you did as a rookie at tackle, and you hear all the buzz about Rookie of the Year awards, and people are talking about the quarterbacks and the running backs. Does it bother you at all that your name, especially your position, wasn't thrown into the mix? Or is it a matter of, if I take care of business on Sunday and we hoist the Lombardi, none of that matters?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care too much about individual awards. I mean, just me. I think winning the Super Bowl is better than winning something like that. I'm not saying it wouldn't be cool, but it doesn't bother me too much. I mean, that's the position I've grown up playing off the line. You don't get a lot of love, so it's all good.
Next, we'll go to Carmen Vitale with thebucks.com.
Hi, Tristan.
Hi.
I had to greet you that way. I haven't seen you in a few days.
I know. Usually out of practice.
I know. Well, we were close practices this week, so we needed to give you guys your space.
Right.
I did talk to Coach Gilbert, though, earlier in the week, and just kind of asked him, because he spent some time in college, recently before getting here, if the game, if it's becoming more similar at both levels, if the transition is becoming a little bit easier, if that can explain why you were able to make such a huge impact in your first year, or if you're just, kind of a freak. But he told me that a lot of it had to do probably with the fact that you came from such a pro-ready program at Iowa, how you guys ran a traditional kind of pro offense with Coach Ferentz's obviously NFL experience. How much did that help you? And what's the biggest thing now that you've got the season behind, like most of the season behind you, that you found that your experience at Iowa helped you with?
I think a big thing just stands out in my head was like learning the playbook and everything. Like the plays we run and everything, like even when I was in college, learning the NFL playbook, I would relate it back to stuff I ran, at Iowa. I'm like, oh, this is like this. This protection is just like this. Just, I don't know. Everything just clicked faster because you'd already learned it. It's just all new. You're not learning new concept. You're just learning new terminology. So I think that plays a big role in a lot of guys coming from Iowa having early success. And I think just Coach Ferentz overall, the way he wants to run his program, you get there and it's pretty regimented. I loved it. He does his best to make you ready to become a man, that's football wise, family wise in your community. So I loved it.
Next, we'll go to Scott Reister with KCCI.
Hey, Tristan, good to see you again. I was talking to your mom, and she was bragging about all the nice things that you do for people back in Iowa. I know the story with Kendra and, visiting kids in the hospital and so on and so forth. And, what does it mean to you to be able to brighten someone's day? And why is that important to you to take the time to do acts like that? And I know it's something that you take a lot of pride in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think it just feels good making people smile. But the thing with Kendra being able to give her my cleats, that was awesome. But I didn't really know. It was kind of like a surprise for me too, because I knew I wanted to like give them away somehow. And I remember I got a text from my mom the day they were giving them to her, and she's like, "Hey, she's like, you be home at like 4:30." I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna text you," and she's like, call me or FaceTime me as soon as I text you." I was like, "Okay." So I did, and my mom answered, but the phone was facing Kendra, and she just, her face just lit up. That was pretty awesome. And then same thing with the children's hospital. When we could go up there when I was in college, that was pretty amazing. Because we have the wave. The Iowa has a wave after the first quarter, but being able to go up there and just hang out with a kid, for 15 minutes, and put a smile on their face, that's really special, because I remember the parents sometimes would tell you, like, "Oh, this is the first time I've seen him smile, or the first time I heard him laugh," and I don't know how long, and it really puts into perspective what we get to do, because those kids are up there being poked and prodded with needles all day long, and we're playing football for a living, and so it really takes that mindset. Some days you're like, "Oh, I have to go out to practice. I have to do this, I have to do that." You're like, "I get to go do this," so just to be able to brighten a kid's day really means a lot to me.
Next, we'll go to Greg Allman with The Athletic.
Hey, Tristan, thanks for doing this. I just want to ask you about the line as a whole and where you think the group has taken a step forward to play at such a high level in these 3 playoff games.
Oh, that's a good one. I think communication, it takes all 5 guys up front, to get things moving. So 4 guys can be on the same page, and one guy could be off it, and everything breaks down. So just making sure everyone's on the same page and operating at a high level, has helped us quite a bit, these last 3 games.
So we'll go to Jason Alex Fleming with the Florida Sun.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Mr. Wirfs? Excellent. We met at the Combine, and I had you on the board as the best offensive tackle ahead of Mekhi Becton and Mr. Thomas. In high school, you were a protector. In Iowa, you gave up less sacks and you were a protector. When you put your hand in the ground this rookie year for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what and who are you protecting?
Tom, that's kind of just the mindset that I had, keep him up as much as I can, keep his jersey clean. But that's what I always try and do, whether, in college, I protected Nate Stanley, in high school, protecting Drew Adams. So it's just like, that's my quarterback. I want to do everything I can to to make sure that nobody touches him.
Next, we'll go to Jared Larson with the News Review.
Hey, Tristan. I met you after the Iowa-Penn State game in 2018, and I went to college with one of your classmates, Jenna Baumler.
Jenna Baumler, yeah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So she helps me with this question.
Okay.
How has your high school football career as a Mount Vernon Mustang helped shape you into the athlete you are today?
So I think Coach Peterson, he played a big role in developing me, in high school and helping me, get to the University of Iowa. He expected a lot out of me and pushed me quite a bit. He would yell at me if I did something wrong, yell at me if I did something right, just because he knew there was more, more in me. And he saw something in me that I didn't see at the time, but he goes to, he also goes to a lot of the coaches clinics. So he was like kind of not like insider information, but just trying to give me the technique that they're doing, in college. That's he runs, the Mount Vernon program a lot like Iowa. So it's just like, it helped me quite a bit.
So we'll go to Jake Malik with Sideline Sports.
Hey, Tristan, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So, Tristan, you had an incredible season. I have to say, first of all, congratulations on not only a personal great season, but for the team. You had only let up 1 sack the entire season, which is unbelievable, especially for a rookie. You had to protect Tom Brady the entire season. So this is a two-part question, really. How did Tom help you? Because Tom's been in the league for so many years, and obviously he's worked with a lot of guys. How did he help you grow as an offensive lineman? And then next, who was, besides Tom probably, who was the most important player to your growth? Who do you think helped you as an offensive lineman grow the most?
Oh, that's a good one. So I think, Tom just being the type of leader that he is, you really want to gravitate towards him and just be a sponge and soak up everything, he has to say or has to offer. We play different positions, but, he could tell you to do something a little bit differently, or he wants you to sell something a certain way. And he'll tell you like why, and then you kind of like, you're like, okay, I get that. But it's just been cool to, to soak up as much information from him as I can. And I think for part two of your question, I think it'd be Alex Kappa, playing next to him. Like, he's so smart, and trying to develop a good bond with him throughout camp, so we could go into, the regular season and be able to play fast. Was, it was awesome. Just the amount of communication that he does, when we get up to the line of scrimmage and during camp, a lot of time it was like him telling me what to do or something like that, just as I was like kind of getting going. So I didn't slow everything down, but then in this, once we got rolling into the season, just like, it's like we got so comfortable with each other, it was just awesome. But I think, he helped me quite a bit.
Next, we'll go to Cameron Ussery with ESPN Coastal.
Tristan, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. We're the same age, man. So I have to ask you this. On draft night, when you found out that you was landed to Tampa and knowing that you was going to play with the GOAT Tom Brady, how excited but nervous were you?
Yeah, it was a lot of emotions that night, just because, it's Tom Brady, and I'm like, I said it earlier too, but BA, on the phone call, he's like, ready to protect Tom, and just like, I was like, I not right now, that's just kind of what it was just a lot, being thrown on me, right? Just those couple words, I was like, wow, and I was like, I'll get ready as fast as I can, but it was still exciting, and it was exciting, emotional. It was awesome. There's a lot going on that night.
So go to Michael Ramirez with the Back Sports page.
Can you hear me, Tristan?
Yep.
All right. Well, the question before you, I'm also 22 years old, and I would be pretty shocked if I met Tom Brady too. Yeah. So tell me, what was your first interaction like with Tom Brady? Like, I would be so shocked too. So
I think the very first thing was he messaged me on Instagram, and I actually I left him on I didn't open it for 9 hours because it was draft night, and so I had a ton of messages, and I didn't see it till the next day. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. I was scared. And the first time I met him was in the hallway here at the facility, getting our physicals. He was coming around the corner, I was coming around the other way. I kind of almost bumped into him. And I did a double take. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you're Tom Brady, But it was cool. I called my mom as soon, right after, and told her I met him. So.
Next, we'll go to Susie Colbert.
Hey, Tristan.
Howdy.
So there must be some comfort, obviously, going into a day this big with someone who's been there as much. But so what kind of advice have you sort of taken to heart the most about not only how to handle the day? It's a long day, but man, there is a different type of energy when you walk into that stadium on Super Bowl Sunday. So what's your plan to handle it?
Yeah, I've been asked that a lot. What am I going to do differently or something like that? And I don't think I'm going to do much. I'm a pretty even-keeled guy. And I mean, the times of stuff where, everything's different. We warm up at a different time. It's a longer halftime. We have to come out and, get off the field certain, so it's all going to be crazy. But, I'm not going to try and stray too much from my routine. I don't have too much of a routine, but, I think if I get, I had a counselor when I was at the University of Iowa. Her name was Carmen. She was the best. And she had like your go zone and your no zone. So like if you get too hot, if you're getting way too excited, too pumped up, you're just wasting energy, and then if you're too cold, it's not going to do you any good. So I kind of, for me, I know what my go zone is. I got to stay like, calm and collected. So I'm just going to try and do that.
Next, we'll go to Zachary Weinberger with FAU Student Radio.
Hey, Tristan, thanks for taking my question.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously, again, like everybody's been saying, had a great rookie season. Is there any improvements that you're looking to work on in the Super Bowl and as your career progresses?
I mean, I think, yeah, definitely as my career progresses, a lot of stuff to work on, but I don't know if the Super Bowl is the time to be like trying something new. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I know what works for me and what I want to do to, coming into this game, with the edge rushers that they have. So, but I think as my career goes on, definitely, continuing to have more, vertical sets and staying square when I'm setting, keep getting better with my hands, my run, my run blocking footwork, getting up to the second level, making sure I'm using my hands, not just like hitting guys with my forehead. But yeah, I think there's always stuff, you can work on.
Next, we'll go to Paul Gable with thehoosier.com.
This is Scott Rice with KCCI.
Hey, Tristan.
Oh, sorry. You unmuted me if I didn't. Go ahead, Paul.
Tristan, working on a story about Antoine Randall and just kind of walk me through a little bit what he brings to Tampa Bay as a coach and a guy who has got a Super Bowl to his credit. Are you going to pick his brain a little bit and ask for some advice about how to handle the moment?
I think El brings a lot, to his team. He's always fired up. It always seems like he's got a ton of energy. But I don't know if I'll pick his brain too much. I don't know. I haven't even really talked to Tom about the Super Bowl. I just think everyone's, at least me. I'm just trying to treat it like as another game. I'm preparing. Trying to prepare the same. I just try not to. I don't know. Something that I've just told myself a lot this season is like, you're still just playing ball. Anytime I felt like I was getting, making it bigger than it was. I just told myself it's just football. You go out there and do what you know how to do. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Now we'll go to Scott Reister with KCCI.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Tristan, just overall, do you ever have those wow moments still like, oh my gosh, I'm in the NFL, and especially now that it's like, wow, this is the Super Bowl?
Yeah, definitely. Playing in Lambeau was like that. That's, being from the Midwest, I think that's like a Midwest kid's dream, playing, in Lambeau in the snow. I kind of just, I was warming up for the game. I kind of just standing out there, just looking around, just kind of admiring it. Just the moment that I was in right there, NFC Championship game on my, 22nd birthday in Lambeau Stadium in the snow. So I think that's been probably the biggest wow moment.
What a John Ledyard with Pewter Report.
Hey, Tristan, well, you face a lot of different types of rushers throughout the year, but Chris Jones got to be one of the most unique, especially because he's normally a guy that plays inside, but he kicks outside so much. I know you guys squared off quite a few times back in week 12. How's it different? What's it changed in your game having to go up against a guy with his physical attributes, build, et cetera?
Yeah, Chris Jones he's a big guy. He's powerful. He's athletic. I think from watching film, even too, what a lot of tackles try and do, they try and get their hands on him, quick. Because what is it, Chris Jones? He weighs like 320 pounds, so I wouldn't want to set back and just let him get a full head of steam at me, But a lot of from what I've seen on tape and, what I did last time, I tried to just get my hands on him quick. Because I don't want a freight train running, through my face.
We'll go to Tyler Comas with Rebel Radio.
Tristan, being that you're barely still a rookie, can you describe what this season has been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been awesome. I wouldn't, being. Oh, that's a good one. I don't even know how to explain that one. I think it's been a lot of fun. Getting to go against all these really good edge rushers that I watched. Kind of growing up, in high school and everything. Getting to go out there and compete against them was just incredible. And then, just coming in every week and be able to, put in a lot of work with all my teammates has been incredible too. It's just, building relationships every day. I don't know. I just think it's been an awesome season. It's one I won't forget. I'll tell you that.
We'll go to Grant Becker with Iowa's News Now. All right, we'll go to Colin Cronin with the Irish NFL Show.
Hey, Tristan, greetings from Dublin, Ireland. It's been a lot of fun hearing you talking about your rookie season and the draft night and the first time you met Tom. But it seems like the way you and Antoine have played, it's not like you're rookies. You're not just standout rookies, you're standout players in your positions. And that's a testament to your talent and your ability. But I'm wondering, is there something in the water in Tampa? What are the Bucs doing that two rookies are so brilliant and so standout in their positions in the league?
I don't know. Maybe like Michael's secret stuff on Space Jam in the water down here. I don't know. No, it's been fun. I got to play against Antoine in college, and I know he loves to compete, and I love to compete. So, I think it was cool for both of us. In camp, seeing each other get reps with the ones and everything, and kind of just start to take off. We ended up getting comfortable and being able to play fast. So I thought that was really cool, but I don't know, maybe there might be something down here. I'm not sure.
We're to Michael Gelkin with the Dallas Morning News.
Hey, thanks for taking the time, although it's required, but I still appreciate it. Off the field question, the Bucs have been very active when it comes to COVID-19 relief. And also, as an organization, you guys have done a lot to take on the social justice conversation in this country. Why is it? What responsibility do you feel a team has, or as a locker room you have, to use your voice and to help affect change in the country?
Yeah, I think for most NFL players, they feel probably all of them, but the platform that we have to convey a message, there's so many people that I don't want to say will listen to us, but that our message can get to. I think our message, if we were to say something, gets to a lot of people. So there's no point in not trying to support something or bring change upon something. It's just, I feel like it'd be a waste if we didn't. And I think this organization saw that, and especially with everything that happened this year, I think it needed it really needed to be done.
We'll go to Natalie Jones with ABC 17.
Hey, Tristan, hope you're doing well. Kind of a bit of a random question for you here. Obviously, equipment really probably isn't at the top of your mind right now, but your head of equipment, Brad Berlin's actually from the Missouri area, Chiefs country, and I was just talking to Ryan Jensen a few minutes ago, and he said, he brings so much to this team that people don't realize. And curious your thoughts on Brad Berlin, if you had many interactions with him in your first year.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about all this stuff, the equipment guys do. You can't, there's nothing you can do but, thank them. They're doing so many things behind the scenes that we don't even know about. They're making sure everything's running smoothly. I haven't had too many encounters with Brad, but the equipment guys. I asked for these white long sleeves. They were super comfortable, and they gave me 3 of them. So that was pretty awesome. I appreciated that. But I love the equipment guys. They're super cool. I got them a bunch of Red Bull earlier in the season. They're out, and I forgot 2 days in a row to get them more. So I'm glad that kind of reminded me. So I got to go get them Red Bull after we're done today.
Got time for a couple more questions for Tristan. We'll go to Grant Becker with Iowa's News Now.
Hey, Tristan, sorry about that. Can you hear me this time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good deal. I was just wondering if you've been able to reflect at all the last couple of weeks here about the journey you've been on from Mount Vernon to Iowa to here starting in the Super Bowl as an NFL rookie. And the second part of that, I wanted to ask what it means to you to have your mom there on the field this weekend.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, being in Mount Vernon and then going to Iowa, I was still in that like 30-mile bubble. I could get home from Iowa, but to Mount Vernon in 20 minutes. I'm like, Mom, what are you cooking tonight? Something that was good, which 90% of the time it is. I go home for dinner, but then finally going somewhere like out of that bubble, was just at first it was I was a little nervous, but once I settled in, I was all right. And I think to that same note of settling in, that's kind of how the season went. At the beginning, it was a little rocky in camp, going against Shaq and JPP, and then I felt like I settled in and got my nerves kind of calmed down a little bit, and just trying to do my best, make sure I had good attitude and effort, every day, when I came to practice, every game day, because those are 2 things you control, and now we're here, playing in the Super Bowl, and that's pretty slick.
And our last question today will come from Joshua Allen with Bucs Report.
Hey, Tristan, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Congrats on a hell of a season, man. How much of a comfortability factor was it having Anthony Nelson come in here, being already here, and someone that you played with and went to college with? And then who was the toughest guy that you had to face so far this season as a pass rusher?
Yeah, having Anthony down here was awesome. I can't remember. I wanted to come down because I sweat like nobody's business. So I wanted to come down. I came down like end of May because I wanted to get used to the heat and everything. And Anthony texted me like, "Hey, he's like, if you want to come, train with me, He's like, "You can." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So we'd go do conditioning over the summer. But just having somebody I knew, and I played against and played with in college was awesome. And then I think hardest pass rusher you said was second part? Ooh. That's a good one. Khalil Mack was really good. Cam Jordan was really good. I mean, I went against a lot of good rushers, I thought. It was just because each of them have something different. They bring something different to the table. I had a lot of fun, having to think of ways, to defend it, or what I could do to stop their rushes. But yeah, I thought there were a lot of good guys this year.
All right, that's all the time we've got today. Thank you for joining us for today's Super Bowl 55 media availability. Tampa Bay Buccaneers tackle Tristan Wirfs. Tristan, we appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you guys.